Hi friends. I just want to point out that I'm sick and that if I sound a little bit weird, that's what it is. You might be questioning why I decided to do this now, and I'm questioning it as well. But if you're seeing this, it means that something good came out, so bear with me. How are we? I've recently seen a documentary about hikikomori. Hikikomori. I don't know. It's a Japanese word, so it should be hikikomori. Like it sounds in Italian, but for some reason I'm trying to make it sound English. I don't know why. It's Japanese word. So, anyways, it means that it's basically like a condition, I think, where a person doesn't go out of the house or out of their room. It happens more often in adolescence, but it can happen as adults as well, I think. And they don't go out of their room or their house for long periods of time, or long periods of time. It doesn't mean anything put like this, of course, because what is long? It changes for everyone, but it was set in Italy, and because it's becoming more and more present here as a condition or as a thing, especially since COVID, which I think there's no, like, for example, in the US, if you work from home, it's normal to, or at least this is my experience, it's normal to stay at home. Like there's nothing wrong with it. You can have, your little vegetable garden, or you can have animals to take care of, or whatever. There's always stuff to do at home if you have that kind of house. Of course, if you have an apartment, then it is different, I believe. But I've really resonated with what they were saying in the documentary, because many there were, I think, the guys involved in this documentary, they were all much younger than me, because one of them, I'm sure, was 19, so a lot younger than me. But there was a girl that was, I think, about my age, maybe a couple years younger than me. So it's something that affects people in every stage of life, in my opinion, especially introverts, especially when you're living in a situation that doesn't really make you want to go out. For example, me living in the city, I don't love this city. I don't like it. I can barely stand it. So it's not gonna be a pleasant experience for me to go outside. And believe me, I've tried so many times to make it pleasant, to have my hot girl walk and listen to podcasts, even talking with friends on the phone, but I just get so anxious because I'm always thinking about meeting someone that I know, because it happened in the past that I've met people that I didn't want to meet, and they weren't necessarily, not in the recent past, because in the recent past I haven't been meeting anyone, but also I haven't been out of the house much, so that might be why. But in the past, when I was younger, I would go out and just meet people, and even the phrase that they would say, like, probably very casually, but for me it wasn't, which is what are you doing here? And I was like trying to justify the fact that I was there, even though there was wherever in this city, which is not like I wasn't at their house, for example. So, for example, if I associate certain roads where I know that people that I know live there, I associate the roads with them, and I don't go there, because if I meet them, I'm sort of in their territory, which somehow makes me think that I'm not allowed to be there. I don't know. But if I meet them and they're like, oh, what are you doing here? I'm like, it's your house, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go. Even if I'm running errands or whatever, like for my grandma or whatever you can think of. So I know it's all in my head, in my brain, but walking in a different city, which I don't necessarily like because there's too much noise going on and everything, or walking in nature, I don't have these kind of issues. Of course, in nature, I'm not going to meet anyone if I'm lucky, because I always pray that I don't meet anyone, that I go places where there's no people. That is my dream, absolute dream, for a little while, maybe, you know. But yeah, that is my dream. I'm not gonna have these sort of issues to think about, and to, because also when I walk here, running errands and doing stuff, I think of, if I have to go to a certain place, for example, one of those roads, I think of that person, and I think of a way to say what I'm doing that would be coherent to their way of being and thinking, according to the memory that I have of them, because I haven't met these people. I feel like these people, like, who even are they? Like, my ex-boyfriend is a good example of that, because I always, even though he probably doesn't live here, he probably doesn't even live here anymore, so it's all in my head again. But I think of a way of saying what I'm doing that would I don't know, not involve him, but I don't know. I don't even know. I will get to the bottom of this, get out for the sake of understanding this, because I don't have a freaking idea of what I'm speaking about. But yeah, this is frustrating to me. And so it makes the whole going out experience not pleasant. If you add to this the noise, people everywhere, not even seeing the sky sometimes because there's buildings and boxes where people live in. Really gotta take a tissue because my nose is running. I'm gonna push it until I can. It's really not gonna be a pleasant experience. So I might as well just not do it, you know. If I can have everything I need at home. And also, for me, I would much rather, like, if I were to be in nature, for example, living in nature, like a house in the middle of nothing, I would just walk everywhere at all times. Like, there's no limits there, you know. It's just that here, going out is not a pleasant experience. It's not about going out of the house, of the room. It's about what you receive when you do. So, for example, if you have parents, or even one parent, that tells you, oh, look who showed up, or whatever, that sense that I hate. I was gonna say that I love, what? That I hate so much. And I don't, fortunately, my parents are not like that. They respect my hibernating times. But for example, when I was an au pair, I was hibernating quite a lot, especially after COVID, especially when I was a bit sad, you know, because of the situation, because of my family, personal issues that were going on while I wasn't there. So I didn't have any control over those issues, and I didn't have any power over those issues. So I was sad and frustrated, and I didn't know what to do, and I was young and I was scared. So it's completely okay for someone in that situation to not want to speak to people in general, even if I was living with those people and we had a work slash live-in contract, which is much more complicated. Like, au pair compared to other work contracts are much more complicated, because, you know, you have to mix sort of work with personal. There's no clear boundaries in between the two, so it is complicated. But whenever I would hibernate for, like, say, half a day or even a whole day, they would be like, oh, look who showed up, look who's out of their hibernation. And I was like, okay, this doesn't make me want to come here more often. With all due respect for these amazing people that hosted me, because I loved the experience, them, their house, everything. Like, it was so life-changing for me. So maximum respect for them. And I've had amazing moments with them, amazing realizations. They were amazing people. I feel like I'm I want to praise them. Like, what am I doing? I don't know. That didn't help at all. So I can only imagine a parent doing that to you for your whole life, or not even, but just a few years. Or I gotta get something for my nose. I can only imagine how that feels. And the most logic response to that would be to not go out of your room more often, or ever for that matter. Same with if you go out of the house and you have just unpleasant experiences, you're not going to want to do it again. That's basic human behavior, you know? So it's not, I don't necessarily think that it needs this much attention. And but also it's a delicate thing, because see, with these things, it's always like, you don't want to make it too big of a deal, but you also don't want to not offer help. So it's such a tricky thing. But I believe that nature, and just dogs, because I love dogs, or having something that you love that helps you to go out of the house, for example. Because also one of the guys there in the documentary, he had a dog, so he would go out with his dog regularly, of course. And I mean, that doesn't, you know, like, I don't think, I don't know, it's such a weird and delicate topic. So I just wanted to know if it is something that is known where you live, where you are. And yeah, because it interests me. I know it's a Japanese thing, and I know it's becoming more important here in Italy, but I don't know, for example, in the US or in other places, if it is a thing or not. I feel bad saying a thing, because it's not a thing, of course, if it is a present / popular, becoming more popular condition. Yeah. Anyway, apart from this, and apart from me being sick and me being on my period and me having to go out tonight again, it's the second Friday in a row that I'm out. Can you believe that? I do not recognize myself. But to be fair, the people that I'm going out tonight with, we've all been postponing this outing since November, pretty much. So we are now in February, so I think it's much due that we go out. And yeah, so it's gonna be fun anyway. I'm just I'm so not physically, I don't want to go because I'm sick, and I'm like, it doesn't happen often, but physically more than mentally and emotionally, I don't want to go. And also tomorrow we're going away for the weekend with my parents, which I'm really excited about. We're going to visit my aunt, who's 4 or 5 hours away, depending on the traffic. And I'm so excited. Well, I'm really I love her so much. All my aunts and uncles. I love my family members so much. But I'm really excited to get the fuck out of here, you know? And yeah. So hopefully in a short period of time, you will see me in a different setting, and like with the sea as a background or whatever, because I want to go live at the seaside. But yeah, and because I have one big project that I've been working on silently, and it's gonna be on social media as well, but I don't know if I want to link this with that. So I think my strategy is to keep the two things separate, and then we'll see how to proceed after a little while. But yeah, I look at my flyaways. Whoa, there's a whole jungle going on there. I wish you a nice evening, if it's evening, or day, week, weekend. Whenever you're watching this, I send you peace and love. I've decided that I want to say this forever. Like, this is so good. Peace and love. Just what's better than that? I sound a bit like hippie, but I do want to be a hippie. I love the Volkswagen van. I want to buy one. So peace and love, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.